So just to say then that one of the things that we're going to be exploring is this word attention in this session. And of course, our attention is a really interesting thing. You know, sometimes it's about how we listen and how we look at somebody, but we can pay attention to things in very different ways. And I wonder if just even now, if you're thinking about it, kind of what you're paying attention to. Now, it might be me because I'm talking, but you could also maybe hear people in the classroom next door. It could be that you can hear your neighbours outside. Maybe there's noise in the house that you're in. So maybe just with your finger for me now, can you point? Where is your attention? Is it on me or is it elsewhere? It's fine wherever it is. So mine is definitely on you right now. But just interesting to kind of notice where everybody's attention is. Okay, lovely. Thank you. So sometimes when we talk about attention within kind of this work that we're doing, we talk about a torchlight of attention. And I have a friend with me today. This is Desdemona, my friend that I take into school with me, and she is going to help me with this session this afternoon. So I'm going to sort of like turn her around so that I don't shine the light in her eyes. I just wanted to kind of make the point that our attention is moving around all the time, but also sometimes our attention is very narrow focused. So in this case, I'm just kind of shining it onto the back of Desdemona's head. But also it can be very sort of like wide in focus. So you can kind of move the sort of like torchlight right there so that it's taking in this case, the whole of Desdemona's body. And sometimes our attention moves around. It can be kind of like sometimes our attention is taken away by sounds that we can hear, but it can also be our thoughts when we're thinking about the future or we're thinking about the past. Our torchlight of attention shines on that instead of kind of what's here right now. Okay. And sometimes our attention just switches off like that. I don't know if you recognize when it happens like that as well. So I wonder if you were thinking about narrow focus attention might be if we're going to do some art or maybe drawing and we're really narrowly focused with our attention. Or for me, I put in my contact lenses every morning and that's really narrow focus attention because I'm really careful not to drop them. Sometimes our attention has to be really wide. So if we're out on the playground and our friends are playing tag with us, we need to be able to see where everybody is. We need to know where we can run to get away from the person who's it. Or maybe, if we're out for a walk, we just need to be able to take in what's around us and maybe know where's safe to cross on the road and things like that. So you can see how sometimes it's helpful that our attention is really narrow and other times really helpful that it's wide as well. I wonder if you would be happy to have a little go at playing with me with our attention. And one of the ways that we do this is by forming a telescope. Now, telescopes are wonderful things because they help us see things in different ways. And so we can form a telescope with our hands. So maybe you could join in with me and just try forming a telescope with your hands by just putting your thumb and your fingers together. And this telescope can be a little one, so just one hand, or you could put one hand in front of the other one and make a long telescope if you want to. You could bring your fingers in, and that makes that hole smaller. Or you could bring your fingers right out against the tips of your thumb, and that makes the hole bigger. Maybe just inviting you to have a little play at looking around the space that you're in with your telescope. And sometimes you might want to like zoom in and make that hole really small to kind of focus on something in a narrow way. Maybe you want to zoom out and take that hole a bit wider for your telescope so you can take in more information of what's going on around you. So just giving you a little bit of time now to just kind of zoom in and zoom out and see what you can see. Okay. Maybe we could, by just having a little look at everybody on the screen that you can see. Does that need to be a wide focus or a narrow focus? Just having a little look. Okay. So just taking your telescope away Just noticing like how that was to kind of play with the tension like that. And we can do that anywhere and anytime. It's great fun to do that outside with our friends on the playground. So maybe that's a possibility. Okay, so we're going to move now into a practice called body tapping. And this practice can be done sitting down or standing, but because I'm seated, I'm going to do it sitting down. But your choice, if you want to do this standing, you can do it standing. So just giving you opportunity now, if you want to move into a standing position, to do that. So we're just finding our own space to settle in, whether we're seated or we're standing up for this practice. And just inviting you to find a focus point. Now, that can be that you tune into what you can hear with your ears, so really listening to something. Or it could be, if you're going to do the practice with your eyes open, something you can see with your eyes. Or it could be your feet on the floor. So you might even want to now just rock your feet backwards and forwards on the floor and just see if you can really feel your feet on the ground. Or it could be your body on the chair, the weight of your body on the chair. Or it could be breathing. So you can choose whatever focus will work for you. If you're going to choose breathing, it might be handy to just pop a hand on your chest and a hand on your tummy and just really notice the movement of breath coming into and out of the body. So just giving you a chance to choose what your focus is going to be for your torchlight of attention now. Something you can see, something you can hear, feet on the floor, body on the chair, or breathing. And then I'm just going to explain what we're going to do. So we're going to have a go at a practice called body tapping. And this involves moving your attention around your body while you tap on that part of your body with your fingers. I'd really like to invite you to tap gently and not too hard. I don't want anyone to hurt themselves or need to go to the medical room this afternoon. Okay, so just really gently. Can you show me your tapping fingers, please, so that I can see that we're ready to begin? Okay, lovely. Thank you everyone for joining in. So taking our tapping all the way down to our feet to begin with, really noticing the top of the feet, and then moving to around our ankles, taking that tapping up the legs. You might notice the bone at the front of your legs, then taking your tapping fingers around to the back of the legs. We're just really noticing the sensations that we can feel. And if you need to change how firmly you're tapping, then just do that. If it feels tickly or if it feels like it's a bit too firm. Moving the tapping onto the knees now. And this might be a place that can feel tickly if we don't do it more firmly. Tapping up onto the upper legs. And then around to the back. And then taking the tapping fingers around to the tummy. And moving up the middle of the body to the chest and tapping here onto the chest. And if you can reach maybe the upper back as well. And also shoulders. And then taking that tapping onto one of your hands. Moving up the lower arm, onto the elbow, up the upper arm, and then swapping over to the other hand. Moving up the arm, onto the other elbow, up the upper arm, and then taking the tapping really gently onto the throat, onto the back of the neck, up the back of the head, to the top of the head. And with really gentle fingers onto your forehead and around your eyes and around your mouth. And then taking your hands down into your lap now. And if you choose to, maybe closing your eyes again here. And again, just Taking that idea of a torchlight of attention and imagine it shining on the whole body sitting here. And perhaps choosing to narrow focus that torchlight of attention to either hearing things, what you can hear, seeing things if you've chosen to have your eyes open, choosing to focus on the feet on the floor, the body on the chair, or again breathing. And as you're shining your torchlight of attention on this particular focus point, just noticing if your attention, your torchlight of attention is taken away, might be shining on the sounds that you can hear around you, or maybe you're noticing that you're thinking about what you're going to do next, or something that's already happened today. And if you notice that, that's fine, that's totally normal. Just when you notice, seeing if you can then bring your torchlight of attention and shine it again on your focus point. And it's likely that this will happen again and again. Torchlight moves away and then you bring it back to your chosen focus. And widening that torchlight of attention out now to shine on the whole body again, sitting here, breathing. And then when you're ready, just having a little wriggle of feet, and hands and fingers, perhaps a bit of a stretch. And I'd just be curious to know, when you were in the practice just now, did you notice that your torchlight of attention was shining on something else? Anyone, hands up, who noticed that happen just then? Their torchlight of attention shined away, somewhere away from the body. Yeah. And who was able to bring it back again, to shine their torchlight of attention back onto their focus? Hands up if you noticed that. Yeah, so it's interesting, isn't it, that we can do that miraculous thing, our attention. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining in for this practice that's come from our DOTS curricula. And it's really lovely to have seen everybody. And I hope we see you again at another sit sometime.